Alright, so we'll begin with Vegeta's encounter against Kui. This time, he will not be killing Kui, surprise surprise. Instead, Kui begs for his life, and Vegeta tells him that he'll only leave him alive if he decides to join him. Vegeta's reasoning for this is because an extra power level of 18,000 could end up being useful to him when he faces other members of Frieza's forces. Kui immediately agrees to this offer, although he definitely isn't going to be best friends with Vegeta right off the bat. In fact, he plans to betray him as soon as he gets the chance. They then continue flying off. Eventually, they run into Dodoria. Vegeta easily defeats him as in canon, and Dodoria spills that planet Vegeta was destroyed by Frieza. Vegeta then let him live, so long as he joined him, just the same as Kui. Dodoria, being a coward, obviously took this. As the three flew again, Dodoria and Kui talked about an attempt to betray Vegeta. The prince could hear them, but decided to pretend like he couldn't. However, before any of their plans could be acted upon, they find Zarbon. Frieza's second in command sees the three of them, and assumes what anyone else would assume. They must be working together. Dodoria yells out that he forced them to, but now that Zarbon's there, they can all attack Vegeta together. However, Zarbon tells them that he doesn't care. If they weren't willing to die for the Frieza force, then they would just be dead weight, so he'll turn them into Frieza. The two are shocked and both put their heads down, fearing their fate. Vegeta is confident he can defeat Zarbon, and so he ends up beating him quite substantially. However, Zarbon was hiding his true form, and he reveals that Frieza is as well. He then uses his true form to completely decimate Vegeta, injuring him badly. He's about to knock him out, but he's hit in the back with a heavy blow. It was Dodoria, but not just Dodoria, his head. Headbutted Zarbon in the back, and Zarbon quickly returned to his original smile. He asked if he really thought he could beat him, and Dodoria said, "No, but I can distract you." The strongest elite then looked forward in fear, and Vegeta was gone. He scanned the air with his eyes, and saw Kui beginning to fly away. Kui was carrying Vegeta, and flying at full speed. Dodoria then chased after them, and caught up. Kui screamed, asking why they were doing this again, and Dodoria yelled that he had no clue. Vegeta was injured and being carried, but he could still talk. He asked them the same question, and they both stayed silent as they sped forward. Zarbon was getting closer to them, although he had returned to his beautiful form, so Vegeta struggled to open his mouth again, telling Dodoria and Kui to get closer to the ground. They ask if he's insane, but he doesn't respond. As Zarbon got just a few feet away, he commanded Dodoria to turn around and blast the ground. Dodoria once again contemplates why he's doing this before doing so. Kui then took off at full speed, and Dodoria did so right after. Zarbon had dust in his eyes, so it took him a while to recover, but once he did, he flew as fast as he could. Dodoria and Kui both carried Vegeta to Frieza's ship, where Frieza questioned why they were flying so fast and why they had Vegeta. The two were both extremely nervous, but Kui piped up and said that Zarbon was angry that they had beaten Vegeta together. He wanted to be the one to bring him to Frieza, so he'll probably end up making up a story to keep himself in second in command. Dodoria then said that they were carrying Vegeta because they thought he could get some information out of him if they let him recover. Frieza is skeptical but decides to listen and allows them to heal Vegeta. They put him in a healing tank, and about 20 minutes later Zarbon arrives, eyes red and angry. He arrives this late because he can barely see where he's going. When he arrives, he yells to Frieza what has happened, but the Emperor shushed him and said that he suspected he would do this. Zarbon stands with a confused look, and his superior goes on. Frieza states that he knows how desperately he wants to be his right-hand man, and that he's scared of Dodoria surpassing him, but there's no need to make up stories. Zarbon then tries to talk again, being completely dumbfounded, repeating the word but. However, Frieza tells him no buts, if he wants to keep his position. Zarbon then drops his head down and says, "Yes, Lord Frieza." Frieza then calls out to Dodoria and Kui and tells Zarbon to apologize to them. He continues not looking up and says that he's sorry. Dodoria walks behind him and pats him on the back and tells him not to worry because they forgive him. Zarbon is extremely angry and embarrassed that he has to do this, and so Frieza then tells him to go off and continue hunting the Dragon Balls, while Dodoria and Kui stay behind with him and Vegeta. Frieza's right hand flies off and continues the search. Eventually, he comes across a Namekian village that he wipes out and takes the ball from. He then returns it to Frieza quickly. However, once he arrived, Vegeta had finished healing. A pool released him, and Dodoria and Kui both stood waiting. Vegeta told them to follow him, and he quickly killed a pool so that he couldn't get the chance to tell Frieza. He then told his two comrades to go distract Frieza while he got the Dragon Balls away. The two then did so, complimenting the Emperor and offering to go out and find more Dragon Balls. Frieza agreed to let them, but that's when he noticed the Dragon Balls being thrown by Vegeta. He yelled for Zarbon, Dodoria, and Kui to all go out after Vegeta and retrieve the balls. The three headed out in pursuit of Vegeta. As Zarbon flew ahead of the others, he stopped and turned around. He told the two that he could handle both of them first and then go after Vegeta, and so they prepared to stand their ground. However, Zarbon could then hear Vegeta's voice behind him as his arm stretched backwards. Frieza's right hand released his true strength, trying to break free, but Vegeta's grasp was too strong. The prince, however, decided not to give the offer to Zarbon. He told Vegeta to just go ahead and kill him, but he was shockingly let go. Vegeta then walked away. All three of the others were shocked at this, expecting Vegeta to give Zarbon the same offer, or maybe even kill him. Zarbon turned around and asked why he was sparing him, and Vegeta just kept walking. Eventually, he said that he didn't need to. He wasn't much of a threat anyway, and he knows he won't join him. So he's just going to let him chase him or report back to Frieza, and then be left in the dust by him either way. As Vegeta told the others to carry the Dragon Balls, Zarbon stood in utter shock. He was being left alive. What a foolish idea. He could still stop him. No, he can't. As Vegeta said, he wasn't strong enough to take them on, or even Vegeta on his own. And if he goes back to Frieza, he'd just be rendered worthless. Failing twice in one mission wouldn't cut it. He had no idea what to do, and so he followed Vegeta to hopefully take the wish from him and at some point redeem himself. Past this point, Vegeta was only missing 2 Dragon Balls, and he believed he knew where to find them. He sensed the energies of Guru and Nail, and so he decided to head in that direction with the others following. When they arrive, Nail steps outside, telling them to leave. He then notices the Dragon Balls and realizes he can get them back. Vegeta knows that if they put the balls down to fight, Zarbon will take them, but if he doesn't fight, he'll be beaten and all of his plans will fail. Vegeta looks at Nail and smirks. Tell you what, put them in that fancy house of yours, and if you can beat us, then you can keep them. But if we win, the outcome should be obvious. Nail steps aside and allows Vegeta to place the balls inside the edge of Guru's house, which also holds a few other energies inside. Vegeta, Dodoria, and Kui jumped down to the surface along with Nail and prepared fighting. Zarbon also came with to watch, as he wasn't going to help Vegeta, and he definitely wasn't going to help a Namekian. The three together were a decent match for Nail. However, due to all of them being weaker than Nail by decent to significant margins, it wouldn't be enough. Nail was fully willing to kill any and all of them, and even told Zarbon that he would be next. Zarbon quickly realized that there would be no advantage just sitting back. He either puts up a fight with Vegeta and the others, or he dies with no fight afterward. He wasn't joining them, he just had common sense. And so, while Nail and Vegeta were battling, with Nail blasting Vegeta back, he was hit in the face by a blue fist. Zarbon released his true power and rushed at the Namekian to take advantage of his downtime. He was almost as strong as Vegeta in this state, so it helps the fight significantly. Now the four were able to make an even fight for Nail, all of them beaten down drastically. Not in critical condition, but definitely damaged thoroughly. Vegeta knew the fight wouldn't be able to continue past this point, and so he flew upward toward the house, again to collect the Dragon Balls. Nail saw this and tried to fire a blast at him, but his attack missed due to Dodoria grabbing his wrist and moving it. The prince walked in, and what he saw shocked him. Krillin and Gohan were both inside. He had no clue the Earthlings were on Namek because he was too focused on fighting and building his ranks. Both of them were massively stronger than before, and could easily beat him due to his damages. Krillin rushed at him and kicked him onto the ground. Gohan then tried to finish off the wounded Vegeta, but Krillin told him to stop. He went silent and turned his head a few times. He asked if he felt that, and Gohan sensed for energies. He felt 5 very powerful energies coming toward the planet. Vegeta tried to sense these energies, and quickly identified them as the Ginyu Force, the strongest warriors working under Frieza. He sat up, yelling and asking if they had any more of those healing beans or whatever they were that they used on Earth. Krillin told them that they were out, and why would they use them on him anyway? Vegeta tells them that they need to get him and the others healed, because none of these groups alone would be able to win. Dende then pipes up that he has a healing technique, and he quickly hops down and uses it on Nail. Dende then walks past all of Frieza's former men. Even though Vegeta never killed the Namekian village in this timeline, he'd still attack Nail for the Dragon Balls, so he refused to heal them. Everyone sensed the Ginyu Force, and even Nail agreed to heal them, but afterward, he, Gohan, and Krillin would defeat all of them. Zarbon, Dodoria, and Kui were brought back to full strength. Dende then healed Vegeta, which launched his power extremely high. He felt this and felt confident that he could now defeat the Ginyu Force. They then arrived and took the Dragon Balls, now having all 7. Ginyu then left to take them to Frieza, but Vegeta told him not to leave. He wanted to fight the captain here and now. The rest of the Ginyus can have the others. Ginyu sees Vegeta's cockiness and sets the Dragon Balls down, agreeing to this. The both of them think they're stronger than the other, and the rest of the Ginyus play rock, paper, scissors to decide who fights who. In the end, Goldo takes on Gohan and Krillin like in canon, Jace takes on Dodoria and Kui, Birder takes on Nail, and Recoome takes on Zarbon. Zarbon tries to convince him that he is on their side, but Recoome does not care, saying that he's in the area with all the traitors, so that must mean he is one. Obviously, every one of those fights goes south for the crew, except for Vegeta and Ginyu. Vegeta was over double Ginyu's power, and it was clear. Ginyu checked his scouter and clocked his power at 250,000. He's almost half as strong as Frieza. This would be some useful strength, he thought. He damaged himself and prepared his body change technique and fired it at Vegeta. This gave him a quarter of Vegeta's power level just like he got for Goku, only this time his power was now 62,500. Still a downgrade, but stronger than anyone else currently in the battle. He was able to return the Dragon Balls to Frieza, while everyone else was getting beaten by the rest of the Ginyu Force. Vegeta chased after him in his new damaged body. Back in the fight, Nail was actually able to match Birder about equally though, while all the others were losing quite badly. Luckily, a beacon of hope had arrived on the battlefield. Goku was there, and he was stronger than ever. He brought with him 3 Senzu Beans, 2 of which he gave to Gohan and Krillin. He told everyone to stand back, and Recoome was excited for a new challenge. But his excitement was cut short by a one-shot from Goku that dropped him on the ground. Birder, Jace, and Goldo all attacked Goku with various techniques, but he was able to easily drop Goldo before he could use the time stop. Jace and Birder were both shocked by this, but refused to give in. Goku easily bodied both of them, and knocked both unconscious as well. The Saiyan shocked everyone, even the Frieza Force members who had joined Vegeta. They were all beaten down, and Goku told them that he was sorry, but he could not give them Senzu Beans. He needed to save the last one he had. Dende also didn't want to heal everyone a second time, only healing Nail. Goku then took off toward the large energies he sensed. Frieza had left to get the password for the Dragon Balls, leaving just Ginyu and Vegeta in each other's bodies. Ginyu obviously beat down Vegeta, but once Goku had arrived, it was over for the captain. He beat him with minimal difficulty, and Vegeta was able to jump in the way when he used the body change again. Gohan and Krillin then jumped in and beat Ginyu down before he could use it again, knocking him unconscious. Vegeta finished him off with a Ki Blast. Prince was hurt a bit, but he didn't really need healing. There weren't injuries that would affect him critically. He told the others to wait in the ship, and he'd explain his game plan before flying off to grab the crew. He helped them all on their feet and brought them to Frieza's ship, where he put them in healing tanks. Goku then decided to bring Piccolo back to life, and to Namek. Oh yeah, I also want to mention that Vegeta grabbed the remaining members of the Ginyu Force, which is just everyone except for Ginyu. Vegeta was angry that he couldn't get his wish. We now continue after the crew have reached Frieza's ship with every Dragon Ball. Vegeta plans on using them to make himself immortal, whereas Goku and the gang want to bring back their friends. They all argue. However, Dende reveals that their dragon has 3 wishes, and so they decide that they can share to avoid conflict before the Frieza fight. However, Nail will still have to buy some time for them like in canon to be able to do this. And so, Nail stalls Frieza whilst Dende wishes Piccolo and Chaozu back to life. But just as Vegeta is about to gain immortality, Guru dies. Frieza then arrives angrily and is ready to end everyone. He sees all the traitors, including the Ginyu Force, which were persuaded by Vegeta, basically just aiming a Ki Blast at them until they submit, but that's besides the point. Frieza sees all of his former men and is absolutely mortified that they would stand against him like this. However, Vegeta blocks all of Frieza's attacks, prompting him to reach his second form. Now, everyone would be outclassed. When Vegeta is beaten, Goku charges at Frieza with a Kaioken times 10 that he should be able to use based on his trip to Namek. This is a much closer fight, and Gohan and Krillin both beg Dende to heal Vegeta once more. As much as they don't like him, they need him. At this point, the Ginyu Force, seeing the guy who beat them at his full power and still struggling to win, give in to Frieza. They all collectively tell Frieza that Vegeta forced them to, but they never had any intention of actually fighting against him. Frieza appreciates this and decides to let them live if they help wipe out the scum who betrayed him. And so, the 4 attack Zarbon, Dodoria, and Kui. Gohan and Krillin both back them up, and with their strength, they're able to stop the four of them. The Ginyu Force are successfully knocked unconscious, and the main fight continues. Now Vegeta has reached a power level higher than Frieza's. He easily dominates Frieza, prompting him to transform once more. He reaches his third form, but it's still not enough. It puts him closer to Vegeta's strength, but not close enough. Frieza tells him that he has one more form, and Vegeta, despite everyone else disagreeing, allows him to use it. They all fire blasts at him, but only Krillin's Destructo Disc does anything, removing his tail. Frieza notices this and gets angry, but Vegeta secludes him so he transforms now or dies. Frieza reaches his final form, and easily begins batting down Vegeta. Goku gets back up, a little winded by Frieza's attacks, but won't let Vegeta just die like that. He uses a Kaioken times 4 and tries to oppose the tyrant, but is slapped away by Frieza's tail before he can even come close. He's then grabbed by the leg with it and tossed around like a rag doll until he finally decides to throw him aside and finish Vegeta. With their comrade in a bad position, Zarbon, Dodoria, and Kui all rushed in to try and stall, while Goku was healed by Dende. Unfortunately though, Frieza's previous attacks on Goku and Vegeta were not going to have the same effect on these much weaker traitors. And it is with these 3 swift attacks that all 3 of Frieza's former elites were dead on the ground. As Frieza looks back in Vegeta's direction, another Destructo Disc comes flying at him from behind. He jumps up, losing his tail, and is now even angrier than before. He turns around and aims his hand at Krillin, but someone steps in front of it. It was Goku, now having reached his power level of 3 million like in canon. Goku uses the Kaioken to varying levels to knock Frieza away from their current battlefield. Nobody realizes the reason why, until Frieza sees Vegeta standing once more, next to the small Namekian he hadn't killed. Frieza aims his finger before Goku gets to the next punch, and kills Dende. Goku is infuriated by this, and realizes that he needs to make another gamble, times 20. He charges into the air and hits Frieza multiple times before launching himself and ending it with a Kamehameha. However, no matter how strong that attack may have been, it wouldn't be enough to end the Emperor of the Universe. Frieza once again returned to beating down his opponent, focusing on making sure he felt the pain. However, Vegeta told him that this was where their fight ended, and his fight with Frieza finally finished. Vegeta, seeing Frieza's power, now far surpasses his previous state, sporting a power level of 20 million. His bravado dropped once more though, when Frieza focused his attacks on him yet again. Although he was much faster, he couldn't avoid the attacks of someone stronger than Goku's Kaioken, and although he was much stronger, he couldn't deal damage to someone on that level either. Goku was once again forced to save him, using the Kamehameha from his feet to launch himself at Frieza with the Kaioken. This headbutt crumpled the Emperor, dropping him to the ground next to Vegeta. Goku then asked for Krillin and Gohan to give Vegeta their remaining energy so that they could fight together, but Vegeta refused it. The prince struggled to get up, and once he finally did, he was shot through the heart by Frieza, and then shot even more. The Overlord laughed at what he had done, and Goku was once again angry, but didn't have the strength to keep pushing himself if he wasn't going to make a difference. Goku stood with his hands in the air. Frieza wondered what was going on, and he was completely bewildered. He stood and watched, asking Goku multiple questions before deciding to attack once more. And so, during that time, Gohan and Krillin decided to wake up the Ginyu Force and tell them the situation. They needed to give Goku all of their energy right at that moment, or everyone was going to die. They had failed to kill the other men, so they would be included. And so, the Ginyu Force, deciding to stand up and finally do something of their own free will, gave all their energy to Goku, to make the Spirit Bomb stronger. Gohan then rushed at Frieza, kicking him in the face. This allowed for Goku to throw the Spirit Bomb and seemingly finish him off. The hero used this peaceful time to bury Vegeta and tell the Ginyus that the prince had chosen to save their lives, and for that they should at least respect him some more. The four think about that for a little bit. I say a little bit because of course this attack wouldn't finish Frieza, but it sure would make him angry. A blast hit Gohan, the boy who only a year ago had been an innocent child, free from the world's horrors, was now falling to the ground, lifeless. To continue further, Krillin was lifted into the air and exploded just like in canon. Goku's body emanated a golden glow as he told Frieza that he would pay. Of course, as you all know, Goku would become a Super Saiyan. He would tell the Ginyu Force to leave, and so the four of them would race to their pods. I'm not going to say that Goku would kill Frieza instead of trying to give him another chance, because Goku would still have his same morals. The only difference would be who was killed. Obviously his son would hurt him more, but never push him to break his morals. As any other time in the series, he doesn't unless he absolutely has to. Here, he does not. So that's my explanation for why Frieza survives Namek, just like in canon. Also, everyone who died on Namek are brought back and sent to Earth using the Earth Dragon Balls. Goku then finds the only pod left, Ginyu's, and travels to Yardrat. Now you may be thinking that things are lining up much more to the original, and you'd be right. However, here is where more changes would be occurring. Over this year and a half when Goku's gone, the remainders of the Frieza Force show loyalty to Vegeta, and decide to train with him to further themselves and prove their worth. Also, Piccolo is much weaker from not fusing with Nail, but as that time passes, Vegeta doesn't get much stronger. However, his new comrades do. 7 much weaker partners means they'll grow exponentially, and eventually be able to challenge him if he's willing to train them up. And he is. Once Mecha Frieza and King Cold arrive, they can all compare to Frieza's earlier forms. Power levels on screen now. And I know that might sound hard to believe, however consider other times when a character had a training partner far outclassing them. Gohan is a clear example. When he trained with Piccolo, he went from a power level of 1 to 981, or even higher when you consider that he was suppressed when Nappa read that power level. Either way, as they arrive nothing really changes. Trunks appears, kills Frieza and Cold, Goku's there, Trunks gives Goku the medicine and talks about the androids, then leaves. The only differences now are that Piccolo is weaker and the Frieza Force are going to train under Vegeta once more. But this time, they may be able to push the former prince. So now we'll pick up after the 3-year time skip into the Android Saga. Nothing much really changes up until Vegeta arrives to the fight. Along with him, the rest of Vegeta's comrades land next to the Z Fighters. Vegeta wins against 19 slightly easier, but Android 20 still escapes. However, due to exactly 7 more people being present, he is caught and stopped. Trunks, who had arrived earlier, tells him that these are not the androids. 20 immediately speaks up, yelling that he can get the others and have them fight if that would make them feel better. Vegeta agrees with this and allows him to go to his lab where he activates 17 and 18, who activates 16. 17 then surprise kills 20 and Vegeta smirks, ready to face a true challenge. Trunks warns against it, but his father had already made up his mind. Vegeta fought 18 and did much better than in canon, but still lost. However, his arm was not broken by 18's kick. When everyone jumps in, they do a little better than in canon, but still get bodied by the androids together. The androids then escape and search for Goku while everyone heals with senzu beans. Goku's heart virus is cured, and then he tells everyone of the time chamber. Vegeta and Trunks go in to train, whilst Piccolo fuses with Kami, fights Cell, and basically everything stays constant. When Tenshinhan uses the Neo Tri-Beam against Cell, all of the Vegeta Force use their signature moves to aid him. Goldo uses Psychokinesis to attack him with boulders, Kui uses a volley of Ki Blasts, Dodoria uses the Dodoria Beam, and Zarbon uses the Elegant Blaster. Oh yeah, also, Raccoon uses his Eraser Gun, and Berter and Jace both use a combined Crusher Cannon. Vegeta and Trunks then arrive and Vegeta fights Cell, lets him go perfect. Basically, once again it all realigns, and by this point I hope you're starting to see the trend. After the Cell Games is announced, everyone goes in the time chamber like usual, and Vegeta instructs his crew to all go into the time chamber so that they might be useful against Cell. Also, instead of going alone, Vegeta goes in with Zarbon, and Trunks goes in with Jace, and Piccolo goes in with Berter. Everyone else just goes in as it would make sense. The Cell Games arrives, and the only difference is that Cell spawns 7 more Cell Juniors to account for the 7 more fighters, which means that there are 14. Yeah. That's a few too many for our entire gang to survive. Goku protects the Earthlings, while Vegeta protects the Vegeta Force. However, not everyone will survive that. Tenshinhan and Yamcha both die once more, and Kui and Dodoria die as well. This angers Vegeta and Goku, and eventually Gohan goes Super Saiyan 2 after 16 dies and kills all the Cell Juniors. Gohan's Cell fight goes the same too, and everyone is resurrected. Maybe the Buu Saga will change? Please let the Buu Saga change. I think this might actually be the case, as Vegeta would seek out the androids and have them join him so that he can get stronger. Goku may never come back, but he's gotta be training in Otherworld, so he's gotta be training to beat him there. 18 doesn't want to join, so Vegeta searches for 17. 17 actually agrees to stop by and train though. Of course, he becomes a park ranger and has a family eventually, so he trains with them less, but still does train. This leads to a massive improvement in strength for everyone involved. By the Buu saga, Vegeta is stronger than Goku is. Not much else may have changed, but it's a start. Oh yeah, also Trunks is much stronger as well due to his father allowing him to train with him more. Nothing changes other than they're all going to join in the tournament when it happens. But everyone has to leave the tournament, so that once again doesn't change much. Everyone beats their opponents at Babidi's ship, and Vegeta still goes Majin. However, here Vegeta is much stronger than in canon. Also, I want to say that 17 was the one fighting Dabura just to conserve energy, because he can't get his energy absorbed. To combat Vegeta's strength, 17 fights Vegeta to ensure that Babidi doesn't get any more energy. 17 tries convincing Vegeta that he's more than this, but it doesn't work, and so 17 is forced to knock the prince out. It may seem questionable, but to me, based on 17's strength in Super and his advanced training in this timeline, he should be able to beat Vegeta at this point. I'm not saying he's as strong as he is in Super, but he is definitely strong. With this, Goku is able to stop Babidi and Dabura from summoning Buu, and Vegeta is set back to normal, away from Babidi's spell. Goku then decides to come back to life using the Namek Dragon Balls to make sure everything stays in check. So hey, a lot changed, but that's kind of a negative because now everyone's weaker. So let's go into the Beerus saga. Goku vs Beerus goes the same. Beerus goes to Earth and beats everyone. Goku shows up and everyone does the ritual, giving him Super Saiyan God, and he fights Beerus, still losing like in canon. Vegeta then goes to train with Whis to catch up to Goku, and Goku eventually goes too. So yeah, that's the entire saga. Zarbon and the others still continue their training with Trunks, Goten, and 17 though. We then get to the Golden Frieza saga. Frieza arrives on Earth after training for 4 months and being resurrected. He brings his forces, and now the Z Fighters consist of Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, Tenshinhan, Roshi, Jocko, 17, Zarbon, Dodoria, Kui, Goldo, Jace, Birder, and Raccoon. They defeat the soldiers much faster than in canon, and 17 takes on Togama, while Gohan and Piccolo team up on Shisami. Ginyu still swaps bodies with Togama while being a frog, and everyone is surprised, especially the Ginyu Force. They really want to get the captain to join them, and so they make sure to leave him and Shisami unconscious. 17 then rushes in to attack Frieza, and the two go blow for blow. Frieza then goes into his final form, and Goku and Vegeta arrive. 17 then backs off and lets the two handle this. Vegeta easily defeats Frieza and kills him. Yeah. He then looks over to see Ginyu and Shisami and smirks. He wakes them up and threatens them to join him or die right there. So I know I said in part 1 that Vegeta killed Ginyu, however I'm actually retconning that, because I think Vegeta would keep him alive for a little bit longer. So Ginyu wakes up from unconsciousness, and Vegeta is like, hey, you gotta join me. And then Ginyu is like, okay. And then he tries to backstab him, trying to swap bodies with him once again, but there's a frog, so yeah, the whole frog thing still happens. They then leave Ginyu in a frog state forever. So yeah, that's why Ginyu's back to life. I just needed to make that retcon, because I forgot to in part 2. So yeah, Vegeta then wakes the two up and threatens them to join him or die right there. The two agree to join him and begin training with the others. Vegeta returns to training them as well. The Universe 6 saga still happens and goes the exact same, other than Ginyu is brought in instead of Majin Buu, and Ginyu passes. Ginyu wants to go in after Piccolo to finish Frost off, as he was severely weakened and he wanted to show him the punishment for not fighting fairly. When Ginyu and Frost battle, Frost is caught off guard due to being so weak, and Ginyu uses his body change on him, stealing his far stronger body. Frost is shocked by this, but Ginyu then blasts him off the ring. Frost complains, but Champa is absolutely fine with Ginyu keeping his body due to him putting a bad name on Universe 6's sportsmanship. Ginyu then fights Vegeta but loses due to Frost's body being weakened from the last 3 fights. Vegeta beats Vegeta and almost beats Hit as well. Goku then fights Hit, almost beats Hit as well with Kaioken. Hit then loses to Monaka, and Universe 7 wins. So during the Goku Black arc, Vegeta uses the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, like in canon, and I think this time he would take Ginyu, who is currently in Frost's body, and train with him. This would allow Ginyu to reach Frost's golden form. Vegeta and Ginyu both came out of the Time Chamber much stronger than when they came in. Vegeta then went back to fight Black with Goku and Trunks. We now move on to the Tournament of Power, and we still have the same roster I said before, with Ginyu and Jace replacing Frieza in 18. Frost in Tagama's body takes down Krillin like in canon, and he faces off against Ginyu, but Ginyu still ends up winning, even without utilizing the golden form. Ginyu and Jace then work together, helping Gohan in 17 every now and then. This leads to Dispo still being knocked off along with Gohan, like in canon. However, Jace at some point meets his demise as well. 17 sacrifices himself against Jiren, and it does far more than in canon. Now it was left to Goku, Vegeta, and Ginyu. Vegeta has a lot more left in him due to this Vegeta being massively stronger than in canon. Ginyu also gives Vegeta his remaining energy when he is about to lose. Vegeta then passes this energy onto Goku, who uses it to fuel Mastered Ultra Instinct. Vegeta sits back and watches this fight take place so that once Goku's body gave out, he was ready to attack. Vegeta powered up into Super Saiyan against this weaker Jiren and was doing extremely well, getting the advantage every now and then. However, Jiren was still able to keep up, eventually able to knock him out of Super Saiyan. 17 then rejoined the battle and attacked Jiren. The two together would take him on, but easier than 17 and Frieza had in canon. In fact, I think they overpowered Jiren's blast on their own, and when they rush in to finish the job, Goku is also running as well. They're surprised to see him, but he is definitely welcome. Vegeta and Goku then attack Jiren and both go Super Saiyan together, finishing him off. 17 wishes for all the universes back, and now we move on to the Broly movie. So without Frieza, the Broly movie is going to have some changes. Barry Blue instead of Frieza takes over and orders the mission to get new recruits and get the Dragon Balls from Earth to once again resurrect Frieza. Goku and Vegeta find this out and end up facing off against Broly. This goes similarly to in canon, but instead of Frieza killing Paragus, well, nothing really happens. You can't really kill Paragus if he isn't here, and Barry Blue definitely isn't killing him either. So Broly doesn't transform any further, but by that point Vegeta had already seen his immense potential. After he knocks him unconscious, Vegeta offers Broly and Paragus to stay at Capsule Corp, so that Broly can continue to train with him. They'll give him nice food, clothes, etc., and Paragus can retire. Broly is actually kind of on board, but Paragus is definitely not, and so Vegeta then aims a blast at him and repeats his offer. Paragus reluctantly agrees, and they all head over to Capsule Corp. And that is where we will leave this series for real this time. I know it's a really short video, but honestly, I just needed to change Vegeta going into the time chamber alone with Ginyu, as it would make sense since he had seen Frieza's golden form and would want to push Ginyu farther to help his own training. Hopefully you all enjoyed the real finale until the anime finally continues. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this series. But as always, tell me if you like this part, comment your requests for future videos, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.